Hi Aries, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your winter solstice reading for you, your December 21st reading. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's see what the tarot has to say. How will Aries be affected by the winter solstice 2021? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. So at the bottom is, excuse me, at the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the Fool, and we have Justice, Libra energy. So if we have Libra within our natal chart, this is coming through very powerfully as part of our root personality during this time. Then we have the Ace of Wands, and we have the Knight of Wands. Aries, this is us. We're represented by the Wands in the minor arcana. We're represented by the Emperor in the major arcana. So we're definitely seizing a gift, and this gift is of new beginnings. And in the minor arcana, the king is as high as it goes. It's like if we were playing cards, right? The king would win. So here we have the king's energy here, and we're definitely taking that. We're also having more sacred masculine energy around us during this time. It moves us to our emotional understanding, and this is the Three of Pentacles and the Five of Swords, which is very interesting. We're guarding our wealth and our money. We're also looking at the ways that we've progressed throughout this whole entire year, right? But we're also going to be looking at certain battles that we're facing again, that we have been facing before and that we have faced before. And we're going to find ourselves more able to take on the responsibilities, see what's going on, see the way that we need to move forward. So that's going to be really good. Then we have the Death card, which is Scorpio energy. So if we have Scorpio within our natal chart, this is coming through very powerfully here. There is transformation. There is, this sense of becoming more. And this part of our personality, again, the Scorpio energy, will be coming out more distinctly in the public arena, meaning that we're going to be changing a lot, and we're going to be looking at things quite differently than we have before. And it brings us to the Four of Coins. The Four of Coins is vampiric energy. We are transforming away from the life-sucking energy that is trying to keep us held back, that is trying to keep us thinking small. And the winter solstice really does help break us out of a rut, have us see a couple of things very openly and very honestly. And we'll be talking about the astrological aspects in just a little bit. So let's see what we have to be mindful of during this time. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. This is the King of Pentacles. And that's funny because it's been coming up a lot for, the last half of December, that people are being told really to be mindful of the energy of, this is my prosperity. This is what makes me who I am. I define myself by my work. I define myself by the way other people see me. We are also going to be looking at people who are successful, looking at people who are powerful and saying, well, I just want to be them. And here's the thing, we're not them, we're us. So it's going to be very important to really see our own power, our own capacity, and see how that plays into everything that we want within our world, how that leads us forward. And then we have our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Ooh, and we have two. We have personal power, the solar plexus chakra, and relationships, the sacral chakra. So what we're going to be seeing here is really our personal power within the connection with our relationships, which is super important during the last half of this year. It's going to be, our heart is right in there with, everything that we do. And here we also need to call upon our power, our determination, our focus, our insight, our ideas to really embrace the relationships that we have in our lives, the relationship we have within ourselves, the relationships that we want to build as 2022 approaches. And remember, 2022 is the angel number of new beginnings. And we have that new beginning really shining through here in our inner selves. So let's talk about this astrologically for just a moment. The winter solstice on the 21st of December is the longest night of the year. And what we're going to be seeing here is a battle between authority and freedom really coming to a head during this time. And this is because Saturn is going to be squared Uranus on the 24th of December. And we have the energy, like everything is just compiling during this time, during this winter solstice, during this time of contemplation, of introspection. And this is the time where we start to see all the battles that we've had during this past year between freedom and authority, between what it is that we want and where it is that we need to be, and what it is that we're developing within our life. And this is because Mercury, all right, is semi-sextile Saturn and trine Uranus on the 20th. So we have the curiosity of Mercury coming forward, the curious cat of Mercury, the messenger of Mercury. We have those messages brought to us on the 20th, on the 21st. We're starting to really unpack everything that we've seen, everything that we desire. And this brings us curiosity. It brings us into the forefront of our consciousness of how we verbalize, how we want to embrace our freedom and the authority and the quality of our lives, like how we are moving forward to where it is that we want to be. Have we been under somebody's thumb for too long? Or have we been living to other people's rules for too long? Have we been too free, too easy? Now we need to be more structured. And this is also coming to a head because we have in the zodiac, we have the Sagittarius energy, which is outspoken, optimistic and extroverted energy of Sagittarius moving into Capricorn, which is hardworking, ambitious, and responsible. So we're going to feel a bit overwhelmed by the pragmatism that is taking over our dreams. And we're going to be sitting there really seeing, how do I, plant my feet where I need to be? So a lot of questions come up during this winter solstice, and we need to be able to find a practical way to let our hearts shine, to let our dreams come forward, to let the freedom of Uranus and Sagittarius fall into balance with the authority of Saturn and Capricorn. And the interesting thing is that Saturn rules Capricorn energy. So it's going to be very strong, this energy of authority, this energy of rules, this energy of hard work and dedication and pragmatism will get us to where we need to be. But we can't forget our dreams. And that's going to be really important for us during this winter solstice, during the celebration of the longest night of the year, of then the waking up of the sun, as we move now into, the coming of spring, or we move into winter, and the days gradually get longer and longer. What we're going to find is that we're really looking for the road that we want to walk, the way that we need to move forward, what it is that we desire, where it is that we want to be. And it's not being selfish. It's saying, this is my life, and I need to be an active character within my life, the main character within my life, instead of a passive observer or somebody who is the supporting character to everybody else and has forgotten their voice, their purpose, and their creative purpose, their creative desire. And it brings us to a place of justice. It brings us to a place of being very discerning of the energy that we're letting in and the way that we're moving forward. What is it that we want? Where is it that we want to be? What is it that we're looking for during this time? And we also have to remember, Aries, Libra is our sister energy. So our sister energy of Libra has us has us looking at things in a very different way. Because like any sister knows, a sister can be somebody you absolutely love, who knows you better than anybody else, but can also push all your buttons. Absolutely, positively, all your buttons without even meaning to, or when they mean to, oh my gosh, they can set off a volcano. So here, when we have Libra energy coming forward, as we're looking at our path, we can really look and see what is just for us, but we also have to make sure that we're not sacrificing what is right for us for what's right for everybody else. Now, this doesn't mean we don't uphold our responsibilities. I believe very strongly in responsibilities. And the Capricorn energy during this time, it won't let us walk away from them. And if we do, it's going to be something very painful for us. So just be mindful of this. We also have here with the Fool, we have beginning our hero's journey. And remember, every single time we start our hero's journey, every single time we say, this is who I am, this is the alignment with my soul, this is where I need to be, we are going against the grain, and people will call us a fool. You know, every single hero, every single entrepreneur, every single person who goes against the grain, every single artist, every single creative is first a fool before they are a success. And that's going to be something that we really need to embrace during this time as we're embracing new beginnings, but also as we're embracing the gifts from God, Source, Spirit, however we see the divine, the universe, as we're looking at our passions, as we're looking at where we want to be, at what we desire, of how we're moving forward, of what's important for us and what isn't important for us, because we're definitely taking this gift. And it's going to rock our world. We're going to be very surprised at how important it is for us to see these new beginnings, for us to move forward in this direction, for us to open up the door. And the King of Wands is the fire and the intensity and the brilliance that is us. It is also the sense of transformation through fire, this rising out of the ashes. And we have that sense again when we move to the public arena and the death card, the sense of transformation. This winter solstice is going to be very much a transformative time, even if it's simply opening up the door of our consciousness to say, well, where do you want to be? You know, what is important to you? Are we going to, follow authority, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with that? Or are we going to follow individual freedom, which again, there's nothing wrong with that? Both have their sacrifices, both have their payoffs, both have their place within our world and their time within our world. Where are we right now? And how are we able to move forward? Because a king, is theoretically, like if you think of the philosophy of a king, is supposed to be the main subject of their people. Right? So here we're going to be looking at how we need to be the subject of our dreams and our desire, our hearts, our practicality, the bills that need to be paid, and also the way that we're connecting with our community and the world around us. It moves us to the Three of Pentacles. The Three of Pentacles is hard work and dedication. The Three of Pentacles is working together, not only with others, but also with the aspects of ourselves, kind of the maiden, mother, crone aspect in mythologies, but also the, child that we were, the adult that we become, and the wisdom that hopefully we step into as we step into, our later years. So here we're looking at this beautiful concept of self, this beautiful transformation of self, this beautiful growth. We're creating warmth for us. We're creating a blanket. This is something that takes tremendous amount of time that we could think, oh, that's so easy. And yet if done right, it isn't. And it done beautifully. If we see the embroidery and embellishments here, it takes a tremendous amount of time. And as we're embracing this, as we're seeing ourselves, a lot is going to come to us in our dreams or in the times where we just kind of let our mind wander. And that starts to bring a lot of wealth forward. That starts to bring new prosperity and new ideas to the forefront of our mind. Now we have here the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is I'm going to be facing battles that I have faced before. And yet I'm triumphing. So here, there is also a sense of when we triumph, we're going to feel guilty. It's like, oh, wow, I really should have been nicer to this person, or I had to put my foot down, but now they're so sad. And yet they were willing to gut us and leave us on the side of the road. But we're going to be looking at things and saying, well, maybe I should give them a second chance. What the Five of Swords says is really don't be weak. So I know that sounds so blunt and so rude, but if we're going to take medieval concepts here, which this is a medieval scene, right? In medieval times, it wasn't, oh, bad sport. You didn't give the person back their sword. It was, why would you? Why would you possibly give them back their sword? You should leave them, absolutely devastated, if not dead. Because then you have won and nobody can question that you have won, and there wouldn't be a blood feud, there wouldn't be more drama to come. And so here it's not, absolute destruction, but what it is I'm putting down my foot. I know what I will take from people and I know what I won't. I know the way that I'm moving forward, and I also know the way that I'm not. And this becomes a time where we're also going to be very aware of our own weaknesses. We're going to be very aware of how people can manipulate us or use us or, just confuse us as we're moving forward. So people are going to sit there and think, oh, you're still the weak person that you are, or the person that is so kind-hearted that I can manipulate them. And they're going to be very surprised, Aries, because first of all, we're very strong, we're very practical, we're very much in the moment, and bright with the fire of the now, very determined. But we can feel bad, we can definitely feel bad and look at it and say, well, that wasn't fair. And fair is a very powerful word for us. We need it to be fair. We are ruled by the god of war. We are named after the god of war. We are ruled by the planet of Mars, which is the god of war, right? So here we have that sense of it needs to be fair, it needs to be seen, it needs to be practical, it needs to be right. And we have to make sure that it's right for us. That's also where the justice is coming in, the sense that it has to be balanced. Then we have the death card. We have the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new. We're going to see a lot of the energy that is around us, that we're contemplating on, that we're really taking in, is going to make us astoundingly curious of how we are transforming, astoundingly curious about how we are handling certain aspects of our lives and ourselves as we're moving forward. The death card is the sense of, I mourn what I have lost, or I mourn where I am no longer. So it can be the end of a relationship, right? It's always very easy to see how we would mourn that, how we don't have that relationship, even if it was a crummy one, when we're lonely, when we're feeling sad, when we're feeling a bit frustrated, we could be like, oh wow, I'd really like that back, even though when we were in it, it was absolutely horrible. So here, it's that transformation that's happening. It's with relationships, it's with jobs, it's even with the understanding of what we will take from people and what we won't take from people. And now we're starting to see ourselves grow into somebody who is strong, somebody who is determined, somebody who is focused, but somebody who also knows, kind of like the phases of the moon, the human being, we ourselves, we always change, we're always growing, we're always becoming. Some days will be less than what we were yesterday, and some days will be more. And that's going to be really important during the longest night of the year, to understand that everything changes. Like Pluto said, all is flux and nothing stays the same. And I love that quote, because what was it said? He was born, 400 years BCE, like before Christ, or before the common era, however you see it or say it. And here we're going to have this sense of, if it was true then, if it was true all those, all those years ago, all those centuries ago, it is still now. That is a powerful truth. And it brings us to the Four of Coins. What are we holding on to because we fear that there will not be enough? What are we holding on to that we think, okay, if I let this go, there's starvation, there's hurt, there's pain, there's disappointment coming. And it might not necessarily be those words precisely. It might not actually be starvation, but there's a sense of, I've had to fight so hard for this. Why would I? Why would I step away from it? Why would I let it go? Why would I let somebody else have power over me, or let, things fall away that I'm not sure, 100% sure that I can get back? And here's the thing with life, nothing is 100% ever. What we need to understand is that we cannot let vampiric energy, we cannot let people drain us, and we cannot let words from the past and hurts and scars from the past drain us. And it's a harsh thing to say cannot, but it is also a powerful thing to say cannot, because it is so important that we stand in the presence of our now, realizing that we are kings, realizing that we are transforming into power, that we are embracing something so much greater than we realized, and not throwing it away because it's not exactly how we envisioned it, or it's absolutely terrifying, or, people told us we would never amount to anything, and we're believing them. Or it just sank into our heads because we heard it when we were little, and then we could have fallen in love with somebody, and they learned our scars. They said exactly what would hurt the most, whether intentionally or unintentionally. And we're left with those craters. And what Spirit is saying now is that we are transforming. We are transforming from those hurts and those pains. And we've faced these battles before. We will face them again. But nobody is walking all over us. There is power, and there is intention, and there is focus to us, which is extraordinary. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of is the Prince of Pentacles. Be mindful of lies around money, lies around prosperity, people saying one thing and then doing the other. This is going to be a time, even though it's one day, like so many realizations come our way, so much insight guides us forward. Our subconscious chakra energy is forgiveness. This is the heart chakra. It is being able to forgive not only those who have hurt us. Yes, that is important, and nobody will say that it is not, but it can feel a little bit detached to forgive others, or maybe even a little bit like, oh, I'm doing this really good thing, I'm forgiving that person. But then if we really look at it and say, but I'm also forgiving myself, that becomes a harder thing. I'm forgiving myself for, naively trusting that person. I'm forgiving myself for being too young to do anything about that situation. I'm forgiving myself for things that we might not even think we need to forgive ourselves for, for being a bit deaf as a child, for being a bit blind, those type of things that you would think, why would you have to forgive yourself? But they leave scars. As somebody who personally experienced that, they leave scars, and they leave also inadequacies that you carry with you until you address them, until you stop and you look at them and say, no, I'm not defined by this anymore. And so forgiveness goes a long way. And it's the forgiveness of ourselves. And it's also knowing sometimes things that we might have to forgive ourselves for. We might never find an explanation for it. Some things are just plain out evil or horrible or disgusting and deplorable. Some stories are terrifying, right? And yet other things happen completely out of our control. And we can't change it. And we have to stop beating ourselves up over it. So the forgiveness of the heart, the power of the heart chakra is going to be so important here, because we're claiming our power and we're claiming what we desire. Our subconscious rooted message is the High Priestess. We're seeing what others cannot see, right? The veil is lifted from our eyes. We're seeing things so much more clearly, so much more powerfully, so much more honestly for ourselves. We're also going to see ourselves so clearly during this time, because the moon is powerful here. Right? The full moon is on the 18th. We have the winter solstice on the 21st. The energy around this winter solstice, around this time of quiet contemplation, around this time of honoring the silence, of honoring the darkness, of finding beauty and worth in something that people, try to eliminate. Our world is all about just smothering it in light so that we can see. And that makes sense. We're sight hunters. We want to be able to see. If we hunted by scent, we'd want to be able to smell everything. So this is important here. But it's also something that we have to realize. It has to be realized that sometimes the quiet, sometimes the dark is the most powerful place that we can be. And the High Priestess, with seeing truth and speaking truth and understanding truth, is at our root. And it's at the sense of, I'm not dealing in lies anymore. I've had enough. And I'm not dealing in everybody's mess. It's kind of like the Phantom of the Opera's masquerade, when everybody walks around in a mess. That's like my favorite scene ever. And as those masks are revealed throughout the play, as the masks are revealed throughout our lives and interactions with people, it can be disappointing, but it's also so empowering. And it moves us to our subconscious inner self. And that is the Page of Cups. It's being a student of our hearts. As we have our passion and as we have our fire coming forward, we also need to be a student of our heart, of what we love, of what we desire from our lives, of the place that we want to be within ourselves and for ourselves. And it moves us to our subconscious emotional self. And that's the King of Wands again. This is us. This is us embracing transformation. This is us connected with our sacral and solar plexus chakra, listening to our gut, listening to our instincts, also seeing our creativity, sensuality, and naming and owning the pains from this life and past lives that have been holding us back, that have been crippling us, that have been stopping us. It moves us to the subconscious public arena self. And that's the Two of Wands. That's a sense of, I'm seeing my world open. That is a sense of, I hold the world in my hands. And it's part of the reality where I stand. But it's also part of the reality that I let my mind envision for me. This is going to be a time where we will be inspired by something, maybe just in passing. It could be a video that we watch, YouTube, TikTok, whatever, Snapchat, whatever inspiration comes our way, that we sit there and we think, that's interesting. Or, that's beautiful. I would love to. And then what if we started? What if we started opening our world just a little bit, and see what profound changes come our way because of that? All right, Aries. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the intensity of this winter solstice. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Aries, and may you have a blessed winter solstice.